We were fucking throwing heat.
But the whole merch line, yeah.
But my mind doesn't get like that. Am I forgetful? Yes and no. I got to be honest with you. Yes and no. If I tell you I'm going to call you back, and you remember, but you remember 6 hours later. You remember when you look at your phone and go, fuck, he asked me for a size. I got to call him back 7 hours ago. That kind of shit. But no, I'm tired. My knees. Listen, man, when I've accepted, you accept it after a while. You have to do the math in your head. Oh, my knee feels weird. It's a 50-year-old knee. 50 fucking years old. What do you think it's supposed to feel like when you were 8? No, it's so I understand all those functions.
Right, but then on the other, like you're saying, you're taking better care of yourself. Like, you're a lot wiser now. I'm not calling you, but you're better prepared. You can do different things that you couldn't do at 30 or 40.
No. Listen, man, you lose little things, but you work with what you got. I was very discouraged from even going to jiu-jitsu. And the most motivational jiu-jitsu guy, I looked at him, and it's John Jock. He's missing fingers from birth. And he didn't quit. He went in there and said, I got to make it work for me. And that's very impressive. So, did anybody see the last Rambo? Uh-huh. It's very violent. The last Rambo he made, it was the end of the Rambo series, and it was very violent. And when you watch that movie, you see a gentleman that's old. So he knows he can't hand-to-hand combat you. He knows he's going to get beat up. So he has to outwit you with his mind. He put grenades and he put the doors one. He put music for them and he shot arrows. He kept everybody at his distance, but he worked from his strengths. And that's what you could do. But that's what you could do throughout your whole life, because we're not all 100%. So why not look at your weaknesses, accept them, and go, okay, my strengths have to overpower my weaknesses. I'm still going to work on my weaknesses, but I got this strength. Let's work with what we have.
I was thinking about this on the drive up yesterday, because my cousin called me, and he's moving back from LA to the East Coast. And I was thinking about it because I hate, when you have a decision like that to make, should I move back? Should I switch jobs? Should I break up with somebody? Should I, a life decision like that? It freaks me out, and I don't know how to make that pick and look at my weaknesses and my strengths. And I was thinking about your birthday. You must look back at decisions you've made throughout your life. You don't seem to have that problem making decisions.
Because I made a lot of bad ones. When you've been making bad decisions all your life, eventually you hang in there, you start making good ones. We all make bad fucking decisions. And the younger we are, we make the worst decisions. We make the worst ones we don't know. But, the one thing I read, when I reread the book that I wrote with Erica, I read about how many times I started. And it got me a little bummed out. I would start over. I would pick up my thing and move across town and start with a clean slate.
Why would that bum you out?
It never really bummed me out that much because I would fuck up. So I was forced to learn how to pick up the pieces all my life, When you keep fucking up, it's like a fucking nightmare. And after a while, you're like, I can't do this no more. It's not that you get wiser or smarter. You're like, I cannot keep doing this anymore. I can't keep dropping my phone. I can't keep going back to this fucking girl. It's just ruining my life. You just pick yourself up. And the more you do that, you start getting confidence in your decisions. And all your decisions now, it's like when we talk about comedy. I love comparing comedy to life. Because we've always said that there's great joke writers. And I bet you it happens with music, musicians, especially writers. What are we talking about here?
About making decisions.
Let me see, what the fuck? When you go up on stage, you have these jokes that you write. And sometimes you go up there. I was talking to one of the guys from Patreon, and he said he went to do a show, but they were all yuppies, and he opted out. You lost. You lost because you judged the audience. And when you're a young comic, you go up on stage and you have this joke you want to do, and it's fucking dirty, and you want to rock their world. But then you look over and you see a fucking grandpa,
right,
with white hair and his wife's got white hair, and they're drinking water, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna crack this joke, but I'm gonna crack it scared. It's like when you throw a rock and you duck. You could throw a rock two ways. You could throw, when you watch those Palestinians throw rocks, they don't throw rocks scared. They take the rock and they go, fuck you, Alibaba, and they throw it. But if you pick up the rock and throw it like with your head up, it's not going to go.
Right.
Same thing happens for a joke. You got to stand behind that joke. This is not a punch, and it hurts more than a punch. It hurts more than a fucking punch. I'd rather get punched in the face. When you have those specific jokes that you want to crack, and you crack them, and it's a good joke, but guess what, pussy? You're not standing behind your joke. If you want to learn how to stand behind your jokes, you watch a man named Doug Stanhope. He'll teach you what I'm talking about. But it's the same in life. You have to stand behind your decisions. So the only way you can be confident about a fucking decision is if you've done it before or been in this situation.
Right.
You know, when we were moving here, I wasn't worried about them. This is the first time I had to bring 2 other fucking civilians with me. This wasn't the Joey show of late where I just said, I owe Lee $2,000, I owe Mike $10,000. It's time to leave town. And I just left. Those days are over because I got cargo now. So that was a lot of pressure to move here because what if I let her down? And what if I let the kid down? What if the kid was more? But I'm like, this is Jersey. And I have faith in the neighborhood and it's not the neighborhoods that I grew up in, but that community is still in there. So I made a good choice. Was it a good choice for me? Do I feel the same way I did in LA? No, I've struggled here the last 2.5 years, but I'm getting better. I struggled mentally because decisions. Same thing we were talking about, you know. I love stand-up comedy, but I got no urge to get in the fucking car and go do a spot. If you can't do a spot for free, why go commit to a paid spot? So I know that. I fucking know these things. But to get back to you, it's the same thing in life, man. When you say fuck you, you got to stand behind it. If you're arguing with your girlfriend, you're like, that's it, we're done, I'm never going to call you again, and you call her 3 days later.
Right.
You defeated the whole patois, the whole goddamn thing, you know?
But that's the hard part for me is like when I think of what stand by your decision means, it's like you're like, okay, this is it, and this is why I'm doing it. But my brain, once I make a decision, my brain will come up and be
start
like,
fucking with you.
Well, what about this way? And yeah, it's like,
then it's time to read the Stephen Ketting book again about the War of Art, or the Art of War, whatever, not the Sun Tzu one,
right?
Because it's getting that stupid. Listen, the reason why I would struggle the last couple months is because there were days I could go to jiu-jitsu and I wouldn't, because I would let my fears. I would go, wow, I'm going to go there and I'm going to breathe, and I'm not going to be able to breathe, and then tomorrow I'm going to be sore, and I wouldn't go. And guys, at 1 o'clock, I'd be fucking furious at myself
that you didn't go.